So friends, today's webinar is a little different. We have a very special person with us who has shaped his HR career very, very well in a very short time. And it will be very interesting to hear from him. I'm very glad to introduce you, Amandeep Oberoi. He's joining us from Pune. First of all, let me tell you, he's a very good friend. He has been associated with Protege for Law. He has been also part of one of our programs. So in that sense, he is also Protege alum. He has done HR analytics program with us. I think about a year back, roughly a year back, Mandeep, you passed out from HR analytics batch. Yeah. Uh, Amandeep has shaped his career very well. He started after his graduation. He started with TCS, so he was a techie. Did that work for close to 3 years, and then decided to venture into management. Went to SCM HRD, completed his MBA, and then joined Cummins. Very few people out of college would like to join a factory operations. Amandeep did that, where he was handling both HR and IR, which is a very rare skill these days, and also doing HR business partnering at such a young age, which is a big compliment to him. Then he moved on to join Adani Port, a very different industry, a very different role. He was handling talent and rewards. Uh, did that very, very successfully. And that is a time when we interacted. And he joined Protege at that time. And then after Adani, he moved on to Bharti Airtel, which is my ex-organization as well. And currently, he's doing talent management for Maharashtra Circle. It is one of the biggest circle for Bharti Airtel, a very large geography. And he is currently handling talent management and talent development as a senior manager with Bharti Airtel. Welcome, Aman. Welcome to the webinar, and I'm so glad that you are able to take out time to interact with all our participants.
Thank you so much, sir, for this introduction. And it's a wonderful opportunity for me as well, since now I'm on the other side of the table and interacting with the larger audience, and will be sharing perspectives, and there'll be good interaction that is going to happen. I'm actually excited and looking forward to this session.
Yeah, that's so nice of you. So friends, when we were thinking about this topic, which is evolving HR trends, and there's a lot written about it, okay? If you Google it, evolving HR trends, you will find a lot of stuff. But there are very few people who can give you the practical aspect of how this role is changing for people who are in HR function or trying to build their HR career. There's very few people who are willing to come and share their experiences, that the way they are seeing uh, the role of HR evolving. Either they are very, very senior and not able to relate to many of you. And I think this will be a good opportunity. I requested Aman if he can spend time with us on this topic today. So a very warm welcome. And friends, please feel free to ask your question. Put it in the chat box, raise hand, uh, you know, whatever you want to ask Aman. We are happy to. So there's no presentation. It's more of a conversation. That's what me and Aman decided, because it's all about addressing what uh, really want to know from them. But having said that, just to set the ball rolling, uh, I mean, you have worked with. So let me ask you a few questions, and then I will open up the floor for everyone to ask. And please keep putting your questions in the chat box. Uh, you have worked with very different industries. You have worked with manufacturing, uh, engines, and gensets. Then you moved on to port business and very diversified group like Adani, and now telco.
Right.
Would you like to talk some of the big interventions that you personally did in your, in your journey as HR that impacted business? And this is what me and Aman was discussing the other day. One of the roles that is very clearly evolving is management is now expecting HR to have a business impact.
Right.
And Aman, I would like to have your thoughts that what you personally did in your roles, which made you grow so fast and created a business impact for the organization you work for.
Sure, sir. So first of all, uh, let me just give a little brief about my journey, and then I'll jump on to this question. And just before addressing to each one of you, there is no PPT, there is no structure. It will remain a very interactive session. You need not to wait for my answer to get completed. Just feel free to prompt, put your questions in the question box, and interject as and when you feel. Uh, so like sir has mentioned, I moved from IT to manufacturing, then logistics, and now I'm in telecom industry. Every industry is very peculiar, very different, and it has so much to offer. HR as a role, it has a very good say in the business. Some industries, some organization perceives HR in different lens, but at the end of the day, the ball is in your court. Like how you can make a difference, how you can come up with the intervention, identify the problems, and just kill that issue then and there with your interventions and convince the leadership about it. So let me just give you an example. I'll take at least 5 to 10 minutes to answer this question. So sticking to the topic, which is HR trends, and at the same time, what interventions can directly impact the business. So there's something called which I recently came up in Airtel and also in Cummins, which generated lakhs of cost saving. Okay, it's a notion. It's a notion that HR cannot bring cost savings. HR cannot directly impact the business. It's all about jargons. It's nothing like that. We can directly impact the business through our interventions. I'll give you an example. Let me just set the background. See, currently in an organization where I am working, the attrition was alarming high. Okay, when I joined, and the figures were so alarming, and every now, in fact, I was welcomed with a lot of attritions in my organization. So that was the biggest problem which my company was facing, and that was required to be addressed. See, people come up with a lot of interventions. You keep on hearing about it कि एम्प्लॉय एंगेजमेंट करना चाहिए, कनेक्ट करना चाहिए, कोल्ड कॉलिंग करना चाहिए, ये सब कर सकते हैं, दैट इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. बट एट द सेम टाइम आपका आपके बिजनेस की एक्सपेक्टेशंस ये है कि दे वांट अ पाइपलाइन रेडी, they want an immediate replacement of the talent. They just don't want to hamper the business continuity at any point of time. See, many companies, they are not aware that government of India has an initiative called apprenticeship, okay, which comes under BOAT, BOAT, which is Board of Apprentice Training, which comes under NATS, National Apprentice Training Scheme. Okay, so there are 1800. So I'll talk about Maharashtra and Goa because my scope of work is in this particular zone, and you will be able to understand the problem. See, my organization is facing a very high attrition. In Maharashtra and Goa, there are 1800 colleges, and there are lakhs of students who are getting passed out. And as per DTE report, Directorate of Technical Education, 80% of the students, they are standing unemployed. So government has given a platform which is aligned to the Skill India campaign, that this platform can bridge the employment, the employer needs at the same time it can give an employment to the youth. So I came up with this initiative when they can join us as an apprentice to us, okay, serve the 1 year of apprenticeship, and in case If there's an opportunity, they will be absorbed as a full-time professional. The best part, about this program, you will get reimbursements. Okay, so let's say if I'm giving a 10,000 stipend to an apprentice, he will be helping with the sales driven activities, and you get 2,500 as a stipend reimbursement. Okay, first it generates cost saving. Second, you have the pipeline ready in front of you. Like once they complete apprenticeship, you have the 20 people who are ready to join in as your full-time employee. Okay, your pipeline will be there, because in this industry there is a constant churn. We cannot just completely rely on the conventional recruitment practices. Okay, so this will give an internal pool that once you complete an apprenticeship, there's an opportunity, you join the organization if they deem fit to the company's expectations. Third is it can be booked under CSR, corporate social responsibility. Many people, in fact, 98% of companies, they don't know this fact that apprenticeship stipend can be booked under CSR. Okay, it's a thing which can generate a lot of cost savings. Okay, so Companies Act says that 2% of the last 3-year revenue should be there in the community improvement initiatives. तो कई सारी कंपनीज क्या करती हैं जिनका टर्नओवर 500 करोड़ है और उनको CSR नॉर्म्स फॉलो करने, वो ट्री प्लांटेशंस करेंगी, वो कई सारे प्रोग्राम्स करेंगी जिसमें सोसाइटी एंगेजमेंट, which should be done. I'm not discouraging that concept. But at the same time आप अपने business needs को भी serve कर सकते हो, and at the same time आप cost savings भी generate कर सकते हो, and at the same time you are in a way supporting the government of India initiative, that is Skill India campaign. See, a very simple idea, but it is a resolution of all the issues of a business. You have addressed attrition, you have addressed hiring, you have addressed cost saving, and at the same time you have aligned yourself with government of India and can be branded very well. So this initiative, which I came up in Cummins, it generated lakhs of cost saving. I started off in my plant. It generated good savings, and then I horizontally deployed into multiple plants, multiple entities, and then it became a success. And I'm doing the same in my present organization, because there are the fundamental problems, the fundamental challenges are same. So this is one area where you can balance your internal and external stakeholders, and at the same time you can serve your business needs, and it can completely resolve all your issues related to hiring, engagement. That's what we talk. So this is one of the intervention which I thought of sharing with one of you, which directly the business. And सबसे important बात होती है कि जब आप business के साथ involve होते हो, उनके direct bottom line को impact करते हो, it earns credibility, and that's what matters at the end of the day. Business will always not think, वो L&D interventions को इतना immediately accept नहीं करेंगे, rather than those interventions जो उनको immediately cost benefits दें. आप L&D कीजिए, आप training interventions कीजिए, आप need identification, आप attrition, engagement activities. These are normal activities which every HR professional is doing. But what you are doing beyond that, that's what business is expecting. Business को लगता है कि ये सारे programs चल रहे हैं, but where are you measuring it? If you are doing L&D, what is the training effectiveness? What are the figures? Where are the figures? How it is impacting the business? It does impact the business, but it's very difficult to explain them into the numbers. ऐसे interventions आपको directly business के साथ partner करने का मौका देता है, and at the same time you earn that credibility and you make an impact in that forum. So I just thought of sharing this thing, which actually worked wonders for me, and I got an acknowledgement in my previous organization and also in the current organization, since we have launched this program, the board program, which is called BOAT under apprenticeship, NATS, which really, and it is one of the HR trends. It is one of the trends which is going on right now. There is a study which is being done, And in fact, there's a government notification which was sent 3 months back on the same subject कि जो भी government के interventions आ रहे हैं, be it related to any laws, okay, or apprenticeship, इनका companies में acceptance थोड़ा कम है. It's on a lower side. Why? Because कई सारे laws, norms, these are not pro-employer, because they are more pro-employee or pro-apprentice or pro any blue-collar workforce. That's the reason why there are a lot of relaxation has been done in Apprenticeship Act. It started off with 1961, then a lot of amendments in 2004. There are a lot of amendments done, and now we are standing with an apprenticeship program which has given a lot of relaxations. I don't want to get into the depth because of the interest of time, but this has done wonders. So that is one thing.
I think this is I'll just take a minute here. I think this is super powerful, friends. So I have been chief executive for few organizations, and I would have loved HR speaking this language. This is for all HR aspirants and HR professionals on the group. This, if I'm listening to this as a CEO, this is super, super impactful, because every CEO has three big issues, okay, which Amandeep is, and he used a very interesting word called intervention, which directly impact business. I think that is a bold and underlined statement. Directly impact business. A lot of time, if we feel HR is a support function, it will remain as a support function. If we feel HR is a direct function which impacts business, it will become a direct. And this comes from the mindset of creating a direct business impact. As a CEO, I'm impressed with three things, Amandeep, with what you said. Get people. Every CEO has one worry. Get people, get people, get people. You know, वही झगड़ा चलता रहता है HR के साथ. यार, I need people, I need people, I need people. You know, that will slow down the organization otherwise. Yeah. Second, get at a reasonable cost. Get them at a reasonable cost. Get them at a reasonable cost. And you're doing that. And don't, you know, hand on heart, you know, I'm not making a, you know, politically popular statement, but every CEO hates CSR. Money spent on CSR. Now here, and I'm not saying those are not good things, those are very important things, but here Amandeep has found a very interesting way, and I was not aware personally, saying that this can be booked under CSR. You know, because CSR is a mandate, we have to do it. But if there is a more business impacting way of doing a CSR, I think that becomes very, very powerful and interesting. Yes, Amandeep, over to you.
True, sir. And so the best part about this also, it actually helps to boost employment of the country, and that's what government also speaks about it. And we can be as a young leaders, I can see that there might be a young crowd who are there in this particular session. So as a young leader, we need to have a win-win situation for all the problems that is there, and such programs, such interventions, they can arrive solutions for all the problems which is existing in the society, and at the same time for the problem. So these are the there's a plethora of benefits linked to it. And let me just come on to the second part of it. I can see a few questions coming in about corporate social responsibility.
Let me just quickly address it. Jasleen is asking, what is CSR? CSR is corporate social responsibility. As per the norms, every organization is expected to spend an X percentage of their revenues into social responsibilities, and there is a list of activities that an organization can undertake. You know, right from charity to you know, non-government, non-profit organizations, to plantations, to various other things, which is more to do with socio-economic status of citizens of this country or to do with the environment. And Amandeep has just educated us. There's another interesting way where through apprenticeship is a great way, which government has now included under CSR activity because it's encouraging employment. Great. Yes, Amandeep, over to you. And we will take
And
some of these questions which are
take
off.
this.
We will take it towards the end. I'm making note of all the questions.
Yes, so taking this further, what you sir has mentioned, see, this intervention can be directly booked under CSR if you engage apprentices beyond 2.5. Let's say if you are engaging 10%, then the entire cost of 7.5% can book to CSR. And like sir has mentioned, if your total turnover is at least 500 crores, then you are supposed, as an organization, as per Companies Act norms 2014, you need to invest 2.5% of your average profits of last 3 years into community improvement initiatives. So that's what the CSR mandate is. Company do it with all the ways and means, but there is other way where you can come up with certain interventions which can serve the business interest and at the same time balance the community improvement activities also. So just added further to the question's response. So let me just come on to the second intervention. In fact, it's a big topic, but let me just come on to the second big intervention which I did in my previous organization, which has again directly impacted the business. This was something interesting because I used to sit in a lot of business meetings, and I'm talking about a plant which was primarily into the manufacturing of power generators. So it was an assembly unit, and the assembly unit has a lot of stations where canopy, alternators, radiators, engines, sub base, they used to get assembled, and it used to get exported to all the around 100 plus countries. So it was an SEZ plant. And during that meetings, I got to hear from my business leaders that quality issues are alarmingly high, and they were attributing it to sorry, I can hear a noise. So all these quality issues they were attributing to uh, the manpower. That's what they were issuing, ki manpower hum sahi recruit nahi karte. So it was, they were in a way passing the blame to the HR that कि आप manpower अच्छा recruit करते नहीं हो, they are not properly trained, the proper assessment is not being done, the proper upgradation, allocation, lot of things. But in a way, I could see that they were in a way hinting towards HR that uh, this is something related to HR. So that became an opportunity for me that let's get into the depth of it. If there is a truth, let's address it. Okay, so what we did in that particular intervention, uh, it we get into a project which was led by me, and I understood all the quality issues in last 6 months of that particular assembly line. I sat with the assembly team leader, all the workstation employees. We analyzed all the quality issues, and finally we got to know that there are 4 critical to quality workstations which are there. Okay, and those were the stations which were poorly manned by the team leaders. So when we analyze the entire issue, we got to know something very interesting, that one, the skills, whatever skills they were expected to have and operate and on the workstation, those skills were not properly assessed. Second, the skills were not properly upgraded. And third, the skills were not properly allocated by the team leaders. Okay, these were the 3 main things which were coming out. When it comes to skill assessment, okay, it's again a very wide topic because you have a lot of operators who are required to operate on a different skill set and need to work as per the demand of that workstation. When we studied the entire problem statement, it came out easily that we need to have an intervention on these 3 areas. So we come up with something called, it's linked to smart factories concept. We come up with something called automation of the skill assessment of that particular assembly line. Output of it would be a skill enabled, the barcode enabled skill cards, which will have an interlock with the line station, so that your skills and your operator get rightly mapped to the right workstation. Okay, so if you just look at this statement, okay, we have completely automated the skill assessment. Okay, so every operator needs to, so just to, for the ease of understanding about the larger audience, the different skill levels. Okay, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, 1 is a beginner, second is someone who need to operate with full of supervision, the 3 who can operate with minimum supervision, and the 4th one is fully trained in a particular skill. Okay, so for this skill assessment software, what it did, it properly assessed, analyzed the skill. Okay, it gave a barcode enabled skill card. Now every operator has that skills card, whether they are authorized to operate in a particular workstation in an assembly line. Okay, so there we get a you can say it's black and white. Either he is authorized or he is not authorized. Okay, so we did the manpower planning in such a way that we don't get any shortage of manpower. We get the right skill sets, and trust me, in next 6 months, our BIS, which we call the quality issues, they were reduced by 25%, and it had directly impacted the business. See, it was an HR intervention. This project went on for 3 months. We engaged external vendor. It was all industry 4.0 intervention that we did in that assembly line. And glad to tell you that this intervention, it started as a pilot in one assembly line. It got replicated in all assembly lines of that plant. Later, it get horizontally deployed to all the stations, all the plants, 15 plants of Cummins India Limited. And I still remember it. I got a recognition from my CEO for this particular intervention. And trust me, these are one of the fond memories when you sit with the CEO, you discuss with the concept. See, it started off with a conflict. It started off with a conflict with the business that HR needs to pitch in. Okay, we, rather than taking it as a like defending about it, okay, we took that as an opportunity, and we capitalized on that opportunity, came up with an intervention, come up with a project. 3 months that project got executed. We for 6 months. Entire 9 months of journey, you get to see your business, your quality issues progressing. So these are the areas where you partner with the business, you you stand with the folks who are being on ground, understand the issues, and at the same time come up with an intervention that can directly impact the top line and bottom line of your organization. So that is the intervention which I thought of sharing with you, which was acknowledged well in my previous organization.
Wow.
So yeah.
I think this is super amazing. I mean, this is very practical approach. And let me share one experience of mine working over the last 25 years. As HR, whenever business will be in a tight situation, whenever business will be in tight situation, there will be one bullet that will get fired. You know, which is that? Can someone tell me that bullet? HR has given me wrong people. If business is happening well, it is because of my leadership and my processes. If business is not happening, it is because the team is not good. HR has not recruited the right people. HR has not trained them well. HR is not doing anything about it. Not doing anything about it. If you have to make an HR career, these are few terms you have to be comfortable with. Okay? And always the blame game will be like this. You know, HR बोलेगा यार अच्छा, जिस टीम में business अच्छा हो रहा है यार वहाँ तो कोई problem नहीं है. So, और last point is luck. You know, मतलब मेरी किस्मत खराब, मेरी टीम में खराब लोग आए थे. So as if you want to be in HR, you have to be, and ये fight हमेशा रहेगी. This fight will always be there between HR and business. Business will say that you recruit wrong people. HR will say, "अरे hiring manager तो आप ही थे, interview तो आपने लिया था." Then they'll say, "Okay, आपने train नहीं ठीक किया, या इसको निकाल दो, नया ले आओ." Now, I think what Amandeep just explained, I don't know how much focus you had while he was explaining. He said very interesting thing that HR, he as a HR professional did a business partnering. I understand the quality is bad. There is a quality concern that is to be addressed. Let us create a model. Let us assess, develop, and allocate right resources at the right places. I'm not too worried about the model. I am worried about the thought process that rather than playing a blame game, there was a great example of evolving role of HR saying, what can I do to help? Otherwise कहेंगे यार वो तो फैक्ट्री मैनेजर का प्रॉब्लम है ना, मेरे को क्या लेना देना अगर क्वालिटी ठीक नहीं आ रही तो। अब मैं कोई टेक्निकल आदमी थोड़ी हूँ, हाउ अगर सेल्स नहीं आ रहा, आई एम नॉट अ सेल्स। इफ क्वालिटी इज नॉट हैपनिंग, आई एम नॉट अ क्वालिटी गाय। तो फैक्ट्री मैनेजर देखेगा ना। इफ बुक्स ऑफ अकाउंट्स आर नॉट मैचिंग, आई एम नॉट अ फाइनेंस गाय, तो फाइनेंस देखेगा। Here is HR who is saying, fine, if this work is done by human beings, then I need to be involved. And let me just see how can I solve this problem with the intervention rather than saying, we got you people, you manage. Great, Amandeep. Great examples you're sharing. Keep going. Are you enjoying, friends? Are you liking it? Just give a big yes in the chat box. Give a thumbs up on the screen. If you're enjoying these conversations, I think this is super amazing. All right. Thank you, friends.
Very helpful.
Yeah.
So just to continue that point,
someone who has been there, done that, Gyan versus practical cases, very clearly we can figure out as HR. And there are big lessons he's giving at the same time. Yes. So let us change gear a little bit. Okay. And I'm just building on to some of the questions that were coming on onto the chat box as well. There was one question that, which which is very interesting one. So let me ask you a slightly different question. So Amandeep, you have joined 3 organizations so far. Many a times and a lot of our participants are on the verge of changing jobs or looking for a new job or just enter into a new job. What is your advice when an HR comes into a new role or a new organization? How should the person approach? How have you approached getting into a new organization? Is there a settling time? What are the anxieties and how you can make an impact at a faster pace rather than saying, okay, fine, let me settle. Jara mere ko mahal dekhne do, pitch dekhne do, 2-3 over khel ke dekhta hu, and then I'll figure out. So what's your approach has been?
Yes, sir. So it's quite an interesting question because in last 7 years, this is the 4th company I'm working, and I'll be very honest. This is the strategy which I adopted of late. That your initial 2 months, आपके जो पहले 2 महीने होते हैं, वो इतना critical time होता है that it's a make or break situation. Okay, so I literally slogged in my initial 2 months to ensure, first, I need to have a good understanding about the business. Second, how is my org structure looks like, the business org structure, the HR org structure, what are the roles and responsibilities, the key talent, because these are the areas where I'll be investing 80% of my time, and these are just 20% of the topics. It's a Pareto. It's a Pareto. 80% of the things which will be consuming 20% of the thing which will be consuming my 80% of my work, and I try to conquer those 20% areas in my initial 2 months, and I overstretch. I work on my weekend, but the thing is, it's very important that I need to have a credibility with the business in my initial days. जैसे हम बोलते हैं कि first impression is the last impression. I think it goes very well in whenever you join any new organization, because obviously you have a certain mindset and perspective just because you have a history. You have a history of working with 3 organizations in 3 different industries. When you switch into a 4th organization with its own peculiarities, it has a lot of things, but fundamentally things are same. Fundamentally, it's a business.
Amandeep, a little bit of mic issue at your end. Just check, please. We can't hear you quite clear. I don't know whether it's a bandwidth issue or the mic issue. Just move your mic a little bit. That's it.
Is it better now?
Yeah, so there was a slight humming sound, but I think keep going.
What I'm saying that just focus on 20% of areas which will be consuming 80% of your time. That's it. So I believed in conquering those 20% of areas which I mentioned, that knowing organization, knowing business, knowing people, the key talent, okay, getting a download of your predecessor, from your predecessor, what had gone well, what didn't go well. It's very important to have a proper handshake with the previous incumbent, so that you know what are the challenges, so that you have the baseline. Because if the baseline is not there, you won't be able to have your building blocks over that, right? So I think these are the 2 things which has actually helped me a lot. And after understanding business and people, you understand what's the people's perspective and what's the business perspective. I invest a lot of my time to interact with the leaders, with mid management, senior management across all the levels, to know about their perspective of the organization. What is their burning problem? What is the key areas where I can intervene? Because in the initial 2 months, just because you are a clean slate, okay, once you connect, interact a lot, because you won't be getting that amount of time in the later stage, because you will be completely consumed into the work. पहले 2 महीने में मैं इतना इंटरेक्शन करता हूँ कि सारी जो अपॉर्चुनिटीज हैं वो मेरे सामने एक्सपोज हो जाती है कि कहाँ कहाँ मुझे इंटरवीन करना है, कहाँ कहाँ मैं अपना इम्पैक्ट क्रिएट कर सकता हूँ. और यही मैंने एयरटेल में किया, यही मैंने अदानी में भी किया था. और my intervention time, it doesn't go like, it doesn't take much time. I don't wait for 1 year. It start off in like this intervention which I did, which was related to attrition. I initiated that project on my 3rd month, when I was still in the process of knowing the organization. But by 3rd month, I was aware about what this organization is suffering, and this gave me an opportunity to come up with something which can give a sense and understanding to the business that yes, HR is there. HR is there to help partner and work on that burning issue, and it does develop a lot of credibility in the organization. So that's.
So I think it's a good point. I think what broader message I'm taking is, first few weeks and first few months, you have to stretch, burn the midnight oil to get a control and grip on what's happening in that organization. So you will have to, when you join a new organization, you have to spend that extra time and efforts to ensure that you are in control of the situation. Otherwise, it may take a little longer, and then organization also start losing a patience a little bit, saying, "Yaar, 2 महीने हो गए, 3 महीने हो गए, what?" Because organization is waiting for your intervention. They've hired you for your intervention. I think in the same spirit, I think Pahul is asking a very interesting question, Amandeep, to you. How would you evaluate an organization before you join it? And why would you join an organization that you join?
Yes. So since the title of this session is perspectives, so I'll share my perspective. It is unique to me. It may differ with you. So take this as a pinch of salt, because I'm not sure whether it will directly relate it to you. See, I'm at my initial stage of HR career. Okay. And I want to experiment and experience different industries and different roles. See, if you look at my career journey, I started with plant HR. Okay. And I handled IR issues for good about 3 years with Cummins. Okay. Then I completely switched my industry to the logistics. Okay. Where my role was completely different. I was leading talent acquisition and comp and ben for logistics different. Again, if you look at Cummins, it's an incrementally grown, organically growth driven company, very process oriented. Adani is more exponentially growth driven company. Both the companies were very different. The third step was to get into telecom industry. Telecom industry is considered to be one of the fastest and one of the you can say the processes, the policies, the systems are over there. It's very fast, it's very quick. It's like I in a way, just to be on a lighter side, आपको follow ups उसी दिन आ जाते हैं. ठीक है, अगर आप intervention नहीं करोगे, अगर आप, so people have very high expectations when you join at a middle or middle to senior management. Okay, so it's a very fast paced organization, very demanding, very aggressive. It's sales, they want immediate results, and they have something called recency effect, which keeps in coming in, because they take a reference of what happened in last 1 month. Okay, they they have this tendency of judging basis of the immediate results. Okay, because that's how the sales operate, immediate results. Okay, so every industry wherever I joined, it's a different role. Now I'm heading talent management and development for Airtel, which is a telecom industry. Again, very different from what I did in Adani, what I did in Cummins, and TCS I was techie in an IT. So every industry, I think it has so many things to offer. I always, in my initial stage, I prefer that whatever industry I choose or whatever company I choose, it should aid to my learning curve, because uh, trust me, fundamentally every organization is same. No company is there for charity, no business is there just to do community improvement or for uh, a lot of benefits that every company teaches about. Every company is there to earn business, to earn market share. Okay, this company has given me a little different perspective about how aggressively you go for conquering and capturing the market share. Okay, so that's what my response is. I think every switch should aid to your learning curve, and that's how I would like to sum up my entire answer.
Good, very good. Thank you. Thanks, Amandeep, for sharing. And you reminded me of my Airtel. I spent a long time there. You know, it is an organization where if something is planned today, the deadline is yesterday. And you practically work in that environment every single day. You know, it's very, very aggressive. But that also gives you a different learning. Great. Amandeep, let's look at a slightly different side of the topic today. Evolving role of HR. Okay? And as a HR practitioner, you know, work with different organizations. Over the last 1 or 2 years, I'm taking a little more, you know, you just said recency effect. So let me just take a recent trends. If you look at last 1 to 2 years, what are the trends that you very clearly see changing? And you also did last year the analytics program with us, HR analytics program. What are some of the trends that you see very clearly changing, and where do you see HR analytics fitting into HR profession?
Sure, sir. Again, a wonderful question. Sir, I think the trends which are completely coming out is, I'll name few. One, see, we are currently experiencing unprecedented times. We have never faced such kind of situation. Change is the only constant. You been hearing this statement every now and then, and that's what translated into the business strategies, HR strategies, and how business is perceiving HR. See, cost saving, it has become one of the major objective, this irrespective of the fact whether your business strategy is focused on customer intimacy, product innovation, or let's say the process improvement, any. So irrespective of the strategies, one of the key focus has become a cost improvement, कि how आप कितना से कितना अपने cost, direct and indirect cost reduce कर सकते हैं. There is one thing which is coming up, that is employee self-service model. Okay, most of the companies, they have in a way completely come up with an organization, or you can say an organization within an organization, which is called self-service, where all the transactional activities gets routed to a small team which will address numerous activities which are transactional in nature. It can be payroll, it can be PF, it can be something related to statutory components, management. So it has been completely outsourced either to a single body or an external organization, which is completely taking care of their transactional activities, so that their cost gets reduced and at the same time efficiency gets improved in the organization. The response time of the queries improves. So that is one thing. Second, what I feel that nowadays organizations are actually focusing a lot about data-driven decisions. See, I in fact attended the HR analytics session of ProTouch, and there I got to know about the text analytics and how we can actually practically implement text and
Your voice
sentimental
breaking.
analytics.
Amandeep, your voice is breaking. Yeah, just you have to
Yes,
start the last
sir,
15
just
seconds.
allow me a time. I think.
No, I think it's okay now. It just breaks in between. You're fine now. You can just,
Okay.
last 15 seconds we missed.
Okay. Yeah.
When you said that you attended the program, yeah.
Sir, just give me a minute. I think my
Okay. So there was a question on SAP asked by Madhuri. Madhuri, I will explain you, towards the end of this session. Okay. Just hang on. Yes, Aman, over to you.
So I attended a training on HR analytics from ProTouch, where we were educated about how to use text analytics and Sentimental is what we call Sentimental, which Twitter and a good, you can say, good interacting platforms are already using. So I still remember that we did a case study on Amazon, sir, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah, Amazon
And
feedbacks.
yes, and we completely analyzed that particular dump, and we got to know about the trends, that what are the pain areas which Amazon is currently experiencing, and what are the interventions that can come up basis of the results and the findings that came out at the end of the text and sentimental analytics. So the similar practice I later adopted in Adani. I got the dumps from my performance management system library, because a lot of feedbacks that goes into the performance management system, and that becomes a reference, a point where you can actually do something, come up with certain insights, share that insights to the leadership, and these are completely data driven. No one can defeat that, okay, because you are stating facts, and facts cannot be challenged much, because you are actually going about a scientific way of handling and tackling a particular problem, proposing insights and coming up with certain interventions, which definitely gets a weightage and acceptance by the leadership. So I think that is one of the thing which was very helpful, and I think it's one of the trend. I think it's not about कि अगर आप HR हैं तो there is no scope for analytics. Okay, even as an HR professional, you can intervene and you can use your analytical skills to come up with your decisions and your intervention. It can be, I think it was covered in your course, that right from descriptive, diagnostic, prescriptive, predictive, there are so many tools which are available that can be leveraged in order to address and solve the business issues. So these are the areas, again, it earns a lot of credibility when you sit with the leadership and state facts, not just employee voices. Okay, so that is the second trend which I thought of sharing with you, and a lot of focus on digitization. Okay, the organization where I came from, Cummins, it was a plant setup where आपके सारे वर्कफोर्स एक प्लांट सेटअप एक ही एस्टेब्लिशमेंट में है, 500 ऑड वर्कफोर्स. नाउ आई हैव कम टू एन एस्टेब्लिशमेंट जहां पे यही 500 वर्कफोर्स आपके पूरे महाराष्ट्र गोवा के हर कोने में है. ओके, नाउ एज एन एचआर प्रोफेशनल, हाउ आई कैन कम अप विद एनी इंटरवेंशन, be it performance management system, be it any employee engagement or learning and development, मैं कैसे उनको reach out करूं? This is where digitization comes in. Now, each and everything, I'll tell you about my present company, Airtel. The entire life cycle of an employee can be governed through only one handset. एक mobile पे they have come up with a very feature rich application, okay, which is called Hive, जहां पे आप अपने सारे employee life cycle के हर points पे, okay, you can raise your concern timely and it gets addressed in a timely manner. Okay, this is where you can engage with your remote workforce. That is one of the chatbots are coming in. So I'll give you an example about two chatbots which we are using for new hire engagement and also our existing employees engagement, which one, it daily interacts with you. Like, let's say if a new hire joins in, okay, that chatbot will interact with you on day 1, day 7, on your second week, at the end of the month, 45 days, 90 days, 180 days. They will keep on interacting. They are your buddy, they are your friend who will reach out. They will check your concerns, that on what area you are facing issue. Is it related to work environment? Is it related to your manager? Is it related to your understanding about the system policies or processes? Are you facing any concern on your learning front? It asks you a lot of questions and this gives us a lot of data points, because all these data will flow to us. Okay, so that is one thing where which gives us again a big scope for doing analytics. Second,
This is fantastic. You know, I think Sakshi is also who leads our HR is on the chat on the call right now. I think I definitely taking this up as a practice. You know, how do you systemize the new joinee engagement? I think this is one of our development area for sure, and good that you brought it up. Yes.
The second area of digitizing, which is very well adopted by my current organization, which I thought of sharing with you. See, employee during his entire journey has a lot of queries. On n number of topics. It can be related to benefits. It can be related to leaves. It can be related to how PF withdrawal happens. It can be any topic. Okay. So you have a chat bot. Okay. And it will analyze your queries basis of the keywords that you enter into it. It analyzes it and it hits to your mother database and finally come up with certain recommendation that these are the probable solutions that you might be seeking for. Okay, that has worked really well in the organization, because it actually saves a lot of time which is transactional in nature for HR, so that we can work more on those areas which are more strategic in nature. Okay, so this is I think these are the trends which I think most of the organization are knowing. And fourth thing, which is, I would rather say, knowing the unknown. Okay, which is very important. Like the apprenticeship project, 98% companies, they have lawyers, they have compliance experts. People are not aware about it. Okay, but it has a big scope. For now, companies are gradually adopting these government of India interventions so that it can serve their business needs. And the fifth, which is very important, because we have completely gone to a different way of working. Now you'll find most of the organization are working on a remote basis. So now there is a remote joining, remote onboarding. We have in a way remote engagement, virtual training sessions. The challenge is how you can engage and motivate your employees so that it can serve the business interest. Okay, so that is the area where HR, digitization, these all things comes into picture. And this can give you a lot of insights where you can make your focus interventions on certain pain areas so that you can address the problem timely and it can kill the issue then and there. Because if this issue agar usko thode time ke liye rakh denge, that will keep on building up. So that is another area which I thought of sharing with you, and that's pretty much it. The list is long, but I think these are the trends which are going on, and gradually HR professionals are coming up with such kind of interventions every now and then.
Okay, great. I think some of the points that I am taking away from what you said in terms of changing trend is cost and efficiency together. You know, how do you reduce cost, increase efficiency? Reduce cost, increase efficiency, and the only way to do it is bring in technology, make it more and more self-serve, use analytics to make better decisions, thereby, knowing the unknown and get better efficiency at a lower cost. I think that's a big change in trend that you are seeing. And Rajni Kumari has asked a very, very interesting question in the chat. It has a potential of extending this discussion by at least 2 hours. But we'll try to find a shorter answer to this. Why HR gets less pay scale? So let me take this up a bit. Okay. Less is relative. Rajni, whom are you comparing with? Rajni Kumari, if you can come on the mic, please. Thank you.
Yes, actually, I'm comparing with the starting journey. So, according to me, actually, I have find out actually different departments that get more pay as per the human resource. That's why I'm asking you.
Which, for example, which department?
Like just say sales, IT.
Okay, sure. So can I give you a straight answer to this?
Yes, definitely.
This is a fact.
Yeah.
Okay. If I'll say this is not a fact, I would be lying.
Okay.
Okay. Now, I think we also need to understand why does it happen?
Okay.
Why does it happen? If you take any situation, when will you pay more? In which situation? If suppose HR needs to be the highest paid person in the organization, because organization want to pay, right? What will make HR the highest paid department in the organization? Why do organizations pay less and to some people they pay more? In general, although I also know organization, including our own, where HR is one of the better paid person in the organization. So I am very clearly worked with organization where HR was amongst the highest paid, not entire department, but some people in HR were the highest paid people in the organization. Now, I'll give you, as my experience as Chief Executive Officer for many organizations, I'll give you a very simple answer to this.
Okay.
मेरे को जिसको, do you understand Hindi, Rajni?
Yes.
Which part of the country are you from?
Yes, समझती हूँ हिंदी.
Okay. अगर delivering measurable impact is a simple answer to this problem. Person who deliver more measurable impact is having a better worth in any organization. अगर मेरे को लगता है कि ये इंसान इस कंपनी के लिए 10 करोड़ लेके आता है और ये इंसान 5 करोड़ लेके आता है, obviously जब 10 करोड़ लेके आ रहा है उसको कंपनी ज्यादा पैसा देगी. Right. Now the challenge has been HR as a function, and there's nothing wrong in it. We all can change it. HR as a function has always been driven by instinct and intuition, not by data and facts. And because किसी भी मीटिंग में अगर आप बोलो यार अच्छा ये बताओ HR ने पिछले महीने क्या कंट्रीब्यूट किया, because HR in its own mind is a support function in their own head. And I'm making slightly general statement. There are exceptions like people like Amandeep who are trying to make a very clear business impact. The moment HR decides to change this, saying we are not support, we are a business function, we deliver results, and if those results are measurable, obviously you get a better position. Let me give you a very live example in front of you. I don't know, and Google about it. Look at a person called Manoj Kohli. Manoj Kohli is a veteran Airtel. He was an HR practitioner who led the organization, a telco organization which is in the history of telco. There has never been a managing director who is neither a marketeer nor a technician. Either he needs to be a CTO or he needs to be a CMO who can lead the organization. Manoj Kohli was an HR head who led the organization. Why? Because he was able to demonstrate, and I will give you more examples. Look for, and you can take these names and look at their journeys, the way they have led those organizations. You can look at people like people like Manoj. You can look at people, and Manoj has very interesting career. People like Shrikant. Shrikant is another. I will give you the full name. Shrikant is another person who is from finance, moved to HR at a senior level, and then went ahead and led the organization. Okay. Then there is this PNG person. I'm missing his name. Let me take. So I think Rajni, just answering your question in very short, because this has a potential of another webinar, and we will get some HR leaders who have led the organization. Okay, why to go ahead? Let us take our in-house alumni of ProTouch, who has done our HR analytics program, Lieutenant Colonel Alok Das. He is an HR professional leading organization today. He is leading organization as a chief executive, as a HR professional. Now, if HR can demonstrate measurable impact to the organization, as an individual, you will be grabbed. I don't know about the function. Don't think why HR gets paid. You have to think, why am I getting paid less? And what will get me paid more? I think that's a much better way of solving this problem, rather than saying, सबका विकास सबका वो बाद में करेंगे, पहले अपना विकास करते हैं. Yeah.
Okay. Thanks a lot.
Okay, so I think even I would like to share my perspective. So yes, if I'll just take a couple of it. Like, I want to name one organization, Aditya Birla Group. So Aditya Birla Group, just because of the people agenda, the people practices, that organization rose from $1 billion to $42 billion in just 7 years. That is the kind of impact that HR professional can create. And HR professionals in Aditya Birla Group is one of the highest paid HR professionals. Yeah. Those who create it. And there, let me just give you one more instance to it. See, the answer lies in the David Ulrich model. I think most of you have heard about this model. Okay, like it has 4 components, like strategic HR business partnering, being an administrative expert, employee champion, and 4th, which is very important, change champion. Historically, HR has been investing more than their 75% of time and efforts into doing administrative activities, being a custodian of HR policies, custodian of some employee queries, issues, anything related to everything. All the efforts historically has been gone into those one area, which is called administrative expert. There are other areas which were not leveraged much. That is the strategic partnering, being an employee champion in a different way, being a change agent in so many ways that we discussed about. These are the efforts which requires attention. Slowly, organizations are realizing about the potential and impact that HR can bring up. The efforts and time that is getting into administrative can be divested into other 3 zones, so that the business deliverables will be more impacted through HR interventions. And this is where what we call the subject of this meeting, that is, this is what the evolving HR role is. And this is where we are heading towards. And you will get to see HR professionals earning higher compensation as and when you'll see this journey will continue further. So just thought of sharing this perspective with each one of you.
Yeah. Thanks, Amandeep. And it's already 10 past 12. So Amandeep, we will not hold you back more. Thank you very much once again. We are truly honored that you took out time to address 80 odd participants on the group today. I really appreciate. Big round of applause for Amandeep for sharing such a practical insights. Such a practical insights. No gyan, all practical stuff. Super amazing. I am thoroughly impressed. I have taken back few agenda for myself to take ProTouch forward. Thank you very much, Amandeep, in impacting our life.
Thank you so much, sir. It's a pleasure and honor, and it's a wonderful opportunity to interact with the audience. Thanks for this.
Thank you so much. And I'm staying back. Aman, thank you very much. Dear participants, I'm staying back. If you have any queries with respect to any of the programs, some of the questions which are more technical in terms of whether we should learn SAP from your learning point of view, whether we should learn some softwares. So I will address some of those. Aman, thank you very much. Please take good care of yourself and look forward for another engaging interaction soon.
Definitely. Thank you so much. Right. Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Thank you. Okay, so friends, I'll take some of your pointers now. You are talking about, so let me just take the first question because I think she has been waiting for long. That she asked, will learning SAP or SuccessFactors will take a HR with experience to hike their pay much more? Okay, so Madhuri, it depends. I think the answer is yes and the no, depending on where your interest is. If you want to go into that field, then I think you should learn it. But if you're thinking that learning that will get you better compensation, I think that's not the right way of looking at it. It will not. I will just give you one guru mantra on this. If you want to increase your salaries, you have to increase your capabilities to solve more complex problems. If you can solve more complex problems, no one really cares what have you studied. Whether you are coming from, whether you have learned SAP or you have not learned SAP. Okay, no one checks our Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Modi's credential before he became Prime Minister of this country. No degrees, no qualification, nothing. If people believe that you can solve problems, people will pay you more. So always think that how can I solve more complex problem for the organization? And then build your capabilities. SAP can be one of the routes, provided you want to make your career in SAP. If you don't want to make a career in SAP, suppose you want to make your career in L&D or Comp and Ben or HR generalist, or you want to be HR manager, then learning SAP is not useful. Then see what are the problems HR is facing, organizations facing with respect to HR, and how can I solve them better? Is what my answer to you would be. How can I learn SAP? As Bhagishri is asking, well, there are a lot of institutes that are teaching SAP, so you can join one of them, and you can learn SAP if you want to. But learn from a good institute. Don't go in the lowest order of price. I would say go with the highest order of price, and then do a research. Where are their pass outs working? What is their teaching? What are their ratings? What are their alumni are saying? Do they have confidence to get their own alumni into the webinar? And then join. Are their alumni well set and things like that, or they are kind of shying away from their own alumni. Okay, so, and then there are a few more questions. Let me just take before I open up for other questions. Before entering HR domain as a fresher, what kind of software and skill we should learn? Karan, I think you should learn HR processes well. If you are a fresher, I would say have a good understanding of HR processes as a fresher. That is what is expected from you. People are not expecting you to have knowledge on softwares. People are not expecting you to have. You should be able to communicate well. And this is one message. I've seen some very good talent not able to crack job interviews because of their communication issues. क्योंकि क्या होता है बहुत बार we come from a English may not be our natural language. It's not mine either. Okay? But please understand, in the corporate world, that is mandatory. If you think that you will be able to succeed with that shortfall, you will not be able to. In fact, you are only decreasing your chances, not increasing your chances. If your communication is not proper, I would say, suggest, because you all have written exams in English. You both all are graduate, postgraduate, written all your exams in English, which means you know the language. Okay. All you need to overcome is conversational English. How do you communicate in English? And if you have any shortfall in that area, please go join a good institute, join it for a couple of months, and this will be history. And let me tell you, you will be able to better communicate and you will have a better chance of winning in your professional career. Now, considering that is done, because I see a lot of good talent who comes to our own programs, struggle on that aspect. क्योंकि हम बचपन से घर में इंग्लिश नहीं बोलते हैं, that's a reality. हम अपनी मदर टंग बोलते हैं, और उसमें मदर टंग इन्फ्लुएंस हो सकता है और उसमें कॉन्फिडेंस हो सकता है कॉन्वर्सेशन का. You have to overcome that. There is no way out, friends. There is no way out. आप कितना भी HR पढ़ लो, if in the interview discussion, if you cannot convince the person or your hiring manager, it's all waste. So, और वो 2 महीने में पूरा हो जाता है. Join some, or don't join some third class institute. Join some good institute who will work on you and help you overcome that development area. Second, as a fresher, Karan, just have a good understanding of HR processes. As a fresher, what company is expecting you is, आपको HR समझ में आता है, आपको रिक्रूटमेंट क्या समझ में आता है, आपको टैलेंट एक्विजिशन समझ में आता है, आपको कॉम्पेंसेशन समझ में आता है, आपको पेरोल समझ में आता है, आपको ऑनबोर्डिंग समझ में आता है, आपको बेसिक HR प्रोसेसेस समझ में आते हैं. And if you have a good understanding of HR processes, if you can tell them how to practically implement and also give them a confidence that I can solve your problem, I will be a good resource. Show the right attitude towards business. Right? Don't go in the interview and ask what is your shift timings. मैं अगला सवाल नहीं पूछता सामने वाले से. Although as an organization, we are very strict 9 to 5:30 organization, very strict. 5:30 के बाद हम 5:31 नहीं होने देते. At least 325 days out of 365 days हम नहीं होने देते. But if you ask me this question in the interview, I will not ask you next question. I'll ask you, do you have any other question for me? And I'll close the interview. Because you are communicating. वो आप HR से भी पूछ सकते हो ना, हायरिंग मैनेजर से क्यों पूछ रहे हो? वो HR से पूछ लो बाद में. You should be, अगर आप में इतना स्मार्टनेस अगर नहीं है इंटरव्यू के समय टू नो कि यार किससे क्या सवाल पूछना है. If you are to the CEO of the company, to the director of the company, or to a very senior leader in the company, you are asking shift timing, which means it is your priority. यार मैं घर कितने बजे पहुंचूंगा या पहुंचूंगी. And you just heard Amandeep saying कि यार अगर आप पहले 2 महीने स्ट्रेच करने को तैयार नहीं, अगर आप इंटरव्यू में सवाल, ये I understand it could be important for you. You have your personal life, but your hiring manager is not the person to ask this question. Are you getting my point? So आपको सिर्फ अगर basic HR processes समझ में आते हैं, I think you are fine. You need not to have anything else. उसको वो अच्छे से पढ़ लो, वो अच्छे से पढ़ लो. और इंटरव्यू में जाने से पहले उस कंपनी के वेबसाइट प्लीज खोल के देख लीजिएगा. अगर आप इंटरव्यू देने जा रहे हो और सामने वाले पूछ ले कि हम लोग क्या करते हैं, व्हाट आर वी डूइंग एज ऑर्गेनाइजेशन, अगर उसका आंसर आपके पास नहीं है, so please expect a very polite we will get back to you, which HR will never will. Does this answer your question, Karan?
Yes, sir. Perfect.
See, सामने वाले ने आपको एटीट्यूड पे ले लेना चाहिए. See, I'll tell you, 90% of the hiring happens on attitude and 10% on skills. तुमने फोड़ा होगा पूरी लाइफ में, होगे तुम गोल्ड मेडलिस्ट, लेकिन सामने वाले को लगा कि यार ये तो मतलब ये तो जुनून ही नहीं है यार, इसे मतलब ही इज नॉट, कर गुजरने की कुछ चाह ही नहीं है, और क्या फायदा उस गोल्ड मेडल का, क्या फायदा, यू नो। सामने वाले बोलना चाहिए यार एक काम करते हैं, इसको रख लेते हैं, बिकॉज इसमें फोड़ने की चाहे फोड़ दे, यू नो, दैट शुड बी योर कीननेस ड्यूरिंग द इंटरव्यू, यू नो। इतना रिसर्च करके जाओ उस कंपनी के बारे में, सामने वाला कहे कि यार ये बंदा है कि मतलब, यू नो, वी शुड फर्स्ट हैव दिस पर्सन एंड देन फिगर आउट किसको रोल क्या देना, इसको छोड़ना नहीं है, rather than saying, you know, the kind of answers we hear in the interview, हाँ मैंने देखा था कुछ तो आप लोग करते हो, वो कुछ करते हो, क्या करते हो? Then I ask, okay, tell me 3 products that we sell. Do you think I will, और मेरी पेशेंस तो बहुत कम है, और मोस्ट ऑफ द हायरिंग मैनेजर्स की बहुत कम होती है, बिकॉज अगर मैं 5 घंटे इंटरव्यू ले रहा हूँ, are you with me, friends? So just take care of these minor issues, you will do very well. Okay, any other question, friends? DP is asking how the retention of the employees can be made in startup companies. Okay, it's a different topic. We will take it up, and I will forward you, one of the webinar that we did on this subject a few weeks back. I will share that with you. You will get good insights on it. Are you in touch with anyone in ProTouch? Deepya?
Yes, sir.
Whom are you in touch with?
Vandana, actually, Vandana and Tanishq.
Vandana and Tanishq. Okay. So
Yes.
I'll share you. Go to our YouTube channel. You will
Sure,
get
sure.
some good webinars on this subject, where you get much deeper insights. And if you have any questions after that, I'm happy to have a one-on-one discussion.
Sure, thank you so much.
Okay, so Mohit has put our brochures. If you want to download it for your reference, please feel free. He has also put the website details as well. You can go through it. Okay, any other question before we wind up? I think it's already 12:20. All right then. Thank you very much, friends. Have a great weekend ahead. Thanks for joining in, and please do joining us on all the webinars that we have. I will also share my LinkedIn profile. It will be great to be connected with you on LinkedIn. I'll just share it on the chat. You know, it will be great to be in touch with everyone. Let me just put it here. All right, here you go. All right, thank you very much. Take care. Bye-bye. Have a great weekend. See you next time.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, Harsha, for those nice words. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir. Bye. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Have a great day
Take
ahead.
care. Bye.
Thank you for wonderful session, sir.
Thanks, Karan. Thanks for joining in.